All right. Can you hear me?
Hey, what's happening?
Brother, what's up?
This is a groovy party, man.
Yeah,
I
brother,
can
like
dig it.
solid. Right on.
Hey, man, what's your name?
Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way.
Good morning and
To
welcome to
bring
the
some
Earl Ingram
love
Show.
here today.
As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842. That's 855-752-4842. Got a lot to talk about this morning. Good morning to you, Carti. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, Earl. How about yourself? How you feeling today?
I'm doing fine, man. You know, I'm always doing fine,
Good to
especially
hear.
on Thursday morning when we are joined by my good friend, and we are officially in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist.
Hey,
As we await Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, we're going to do talk about a lot of different things this morning, but we're going to begin again. You are officially in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, on the Earl Ingram Show. Hey, good morning to you, Dr. Omar. How you doing, man?
Good morning, Earl. I'm doing great. It's sunny. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be at 50s and a little bit above, man. We're
Oh
actually
my God.
heading towards paradise.
let's go.
That's great. It's a very nice way of saying it. We've been missing the sun for so long, and it's just fearful.
Yeah, it is the sun itself, the rays of the sun, and it does so much. It's not even just the warmth, is it? It's something about it. Well, I mean,
Yeah, vitamin D. We need more vitamin D, and the best way to get vitamin D is to be exposed to the sun for like 15, 20 minutes a day. And it would be great if we can get it naturally rather than just taking it from a supplement, because it's a pro-hormone that we need in our body that helps with so many things, supports the immune system, supports the skin health, the gut health. But I'm talking as a pharmacist and a clinician, but it also helps with mental health and just feeling good. When someone calls me at the pharmacy, I tell them, "Good morning, how are you doing in this beautiful day?" And then my customer starts laughing and they start to find ways to make it beautiful. If it is
yeah.
sunny, they tell me, "It is sunny today. Yes, it's beautiful." If it's not raining, they tell me, "Oh, thank God that it's not raining." So the mental health is very important with the weather changes, and it's also gives us an opportunity to reset and think and rethink of the beautiful things in our lives that we're missing, and the weather is just getting us to life is starting again, right?
Yes, spring, the old axiom, spring springs eternal. And so, life is coming back. Um, when spring arrives, and um, we've got a lot of rain on the way. And so, rain is a necessary reality for spring, because life springs back in the flowers and the trees, and all of those to help beautify all the things around us. So I don't get discouraged when there's rain. I always think, hey, it could be snow.
It could be snow.
So bring on the rain. Uh, Dr. Omar, we're going to talk this morning about pain. And so let me ask you, before we get so deeply into it, is some pain a part? Should there ever be a tolerance for pain?
There should be
It,
yeah. Tolerance for pain is a subjective matter because some people have very high tolerance to start complaining from pain. So you ask two people, what's your pain? They say we are in pain.
right,
What's your pain level? One is gonna tell you it's like 3 out of 10. Another person is gonna tell you it's 15 out of 10. I am
right,
in so much pain. And so it's kind of get us to the question of where does pain stem from? Is it from the brain or is it from the body, physically something in the body? And actually, the determinant of the level of pain is the brain, because there are receptors in the body called nociceptive receptors. They are everywhere in the body, and they get the pain and they send a message to the brain, and the brain would translate it and give you the idea that I feel discomfort. Oh, I am in pain. Then you start to tolerate it to a point that you complain about it. And then sometimes you would tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to suck it and just kind of be a man and kind of live with it.
right,
And then the pain increases. And this is the challenge, is like if you let the pain increase in your body, it will be harder to control it. So as soon as you feel pain, start to seek a solution for relief. Start to figure out, find a way to relieve this pain, because when it gets to be a crisis and you can't sleep at night, you can't work, you're going to try to find more aggressive solutions to treat with your pain with more side effects.
so is pain a sign from our bodies that something is going askew or something is going wrong?
Exactly. It's not normal that we have pain or we live with pain. God created our body in a homeostasis state. Homeostasis means balance. So if let's say you touch something hits you, you feel pain just to stay away from this thing that hits you. If this pain continues, that is inflammation. Inflammation means that the body is reacting to something, and then after it's reacting to this external factor or internal factor, it helps to heal it, and then you have no inflammation, you have no pain. If the pain continues, then you would hear a lot. This means you have continuous low-grade inflammation, which means the body is still overreacting to the thing that happened. All right, but eventually, I'm still in pain. What can I do? You go to the pharmacy or you order an over-the-counter pain medication. Start to have no pain every time that you have the over-the-counter medication. You could keep taking it week after week, month after month, but that can have other problems in your body, as we've been discussing before the episode. So you have to be careful how you work with your pain. And there are certain questions that I always ask in my pain questionnaires to make sure that I am addressing the right person with the right solution. that can help them manage and deal with pain. Remember, when there is a doctor that works in pain management, it's pain management. You're managing the pain because there are certain health conditions that you're going to live with that kind of pain. But we want your perception of this pain to be tolerable and not to prevent you from living your life, loving your family, and being successful.
You know, Dr. Omar. Oh, you're officially in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, on the Earl Ingram Show. We'll take, Dr. Omar will take any questions or comments. Certainly, whatever it is that you want to discuss with Dr. Omar, we don't always have to stick with the subject matter. You're welcome. But Dr. Omar, you know, you walk when I was again a young guy, and yes, I would go into the pharmacy and you'd see Bayer aspirin and you'd see maybe a couple others. I can't remember what the names of them were. But now you go in and there's a whole aisle full of pain medication over the counter. And so what's the difference between pain medications, aspirin, ibuprofen, and many other kinds of pain medications? I think we've lost Dr. Omar for a second.
No, I am here. I am here.
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah,
on
but
the pictures
so
of it.
Dr. Omar,
Yeah.
what's the difference between, and if I've got a headache, how should I determine if I should take aspirin, ibuprofen, you know, and all these other different types of pain medications that you know better than I? I've forgotten the name of them.
Yeah.
Over the counter.
You go to the pharmacy, and in the aisle there are two big segments of over-the-counter medications: acetaminophen or
Yes.
APAP, and there is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs. Acetaminophen, it's primarily used to reduce pain and fever. They don't have a strong anti-inflammatory effect like the ibuprofen and the Advil. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, naproxen and aspirin, also is considered like that. So yeah, patients usually start with acetaminophen because it has like kind of less side effects on the kidneys. High doses can affect the liver, but usually you can start with acetaminophen. Safe dose is like 500 milligram, 1000 milligram in one day. Maximum dose is 4 grams a day. After that, it will cause damage to the liver. There is a famous question that we had in the pharmacy school in which our pharmacology doctor would ask us, like, who is going to die first? This person who takes 100 pills of Bayer aspirin, or this person who takes 100 pills of acetaminophen? And the answer is that you can take up to maybe 160 pills of Bayer aspirin, and you're not going to die from problems in the kidney. You're going to die from an ulcer. Took 160 or something. But if you take more than 8 tablets of acetaminophen, you can die hours later from liver failure because it has detrimental effect on the liver on high doses. And that's why if people are taking Tylenol, high doses, long period of time, they have challenges in their liver, and they might need to seek other ways to treat their pain.
855-752-4842. You're officially in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, on the Earl Ingram Show.
To bring some loving here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on? Right now. Right on. Right on. Everybody thinks we're at home. Oh, but who are they to judge us? Simply cause our hair is long.
The following content is not intended as medical advice. Always consult your own physician, pharmacist, or healthcare professional for your own healthcare concerns.
Bringing you a passion for health and wellness. Dr. Omar Uliwa is here to answer your pharmaceutical questions. Now, let's go in the pharmacy with Earl Ingram and Dr. Omar.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fears without crying. Now I want to understand. I have done all that I could to see the evil and the good without hiding. You must help me if you can. Doctor, my eyes, tell me what is wrong. Was I unwise to leave them open for so long? I have wandered through this world.
All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. You're officially in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist. He's going to take any questions or comments that you have about your health and, the medications that you are taking. Dr. Omar, how can people get in touch with you?
People can always call at 262-429-9429. They can also text me at the same number or go to wiltopiarx.com and leave me a message.
And Carti, if people didn't catch all of what we're talking about now, how can they hear this again?
They could always log on to civicmedia.us to check out the episode, click on the Earl Ingram Show. And if they, like you said it before, they can always call into the text line, 855-752-4842.
Carti, you asked a question earlier.
I did.
You want to ask Dr. Omar a question now?
Yes. So I was reading this article, kind of like on social media, and a lady has stated that when your foot falls asleep, to shake your brain to wake it up. Is that true, or how does that work?
When you shake your brain to wake it up to when I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Hey, Dr. Omar,
That's a complex question.
Hey, Dr. Omar, it was on social media.
Yeah.
But
It's not easy to answer that.
But anyway, Dr. Omar, so when you're taking these different, nobody says, as you talked about, acetaminophen,
Acetaminophen, APAP.
Yes.
Tylenol, yes.
Tylenol, and you just, you don't know, you just want to get rid of this headache that you have. And sometimes, the headache is a sign that your blood pressure is too high. And so if you keep taking these different medications or over-the-counter medications, because when your blood pressure is too high, you start having headaches. If you try to mask that with these over-the-counter medications, you really can do some serious harm to yourself, can't you?
I completely agree. Now I am having headache and I want it to go away. So I'm going to take some over-the-counter medication like Tylenol or ibuprofen. If the headache comes the next day, I do it again. If it continues, if I have to use over-the-counter medications more than twice a week, then I have to look for the cause for this headache. It can be high blood pressure. It can be low magnesium in the body. So I might just solve it by taking magnesium. Can be anything else. It can be a different form of pain that's unidentified. So one of the main questions I ask my patients is how often you use over-the-counter pain pills on a weekly basis. And based on that, we can determine some kind of inflammation or another health condition that's going on. But the challenge, Earl, is that some patients come to you and they say, I have fibromyalgia. My doctor defined me with fibromyalgia, which is kind of multifactorial pain syndrome that is unidentified, and doctors throw a diagnosis, and there is not a specific medication that would help with this. And that's why the patient would be taking 3-4 different medications for pain. That's when we try to find pain alternatives in which I want to seek something else that will help. For example, curcumin and turmeric. That is an excellent pain management solution, all right? But we have to take the right form that's coming from high-grade curcumin in a capsule form. Take it after you eat and take it regularly, because it's not going to be acutely working to deal with pain now. So I want to differentiate between acute pain. I want to deal with it now. So that's why I took ibuprofen once in a blue moon, once a month, and pain management in which I need something to take on a daily basis. For instance, curcumin or turmeric, there's so many companies that make them. I have maybe 10 different brands that are very good on curcumin, but I always check with the patient. Do you take blood thinners? Because if you take blood thinners like Eliquis, like Plavix, that is going to affect the, if you take curcumin, it's going to affect the blood thinning effect of this medication. So if you want to take it and your doctor doesn't have a problem with you taking it, that's a solution. But if you're taking these medications, I usually don't have patients take something that would increase the blood thinning effect, because now I have to deal with the bigger context of pills and capsules that you take, and drug interaction and drug supplements interaction. So I would introduce other solutions like low-dose naltrexone, LDN that I talked about before in the show, Earl, and I'm going to tell you briefly what it is. Novel therapy that we've been using for 40 years. See, novel and 40 years. We've been using it in compounding pharmacy. We are using it in order to help with pain reduction and inflammation reduction by briefly blocking opioid receptors, so they can increase the body's endorphins, which is the happy hormones in the body, managing various conditions of pain, including fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, neuropathic pain, and that's kind of a prescription drug compounded for pain management.
So, Dr. Omar, 855-752-4842. You're officially in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist. Any questions or comments that you have, we can take them now. 855-752-4842. Dr. Omar, we'll continue that conversation we just had on the Earl Ingram Show.
Too late for me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Text us at that same number. It's Thursday, so the one and only Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, is on the line. You're officially in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist. You know, Dr. Omar, the more I hear these conversations from you, the more I realize just how critically important it is that we pay attention to these conversations and the things you're talking about. For instance, you know, you talked about people taking, blood thinners. And I remember I had a stint many well over a decade and a half ago. I wound up with a stent, and I was taking, it might have been Plavix
Yeah.
to thin my blood, and because they had put this stent in. Now I didn't know, up from down, left from right. I'm a much younger man, and I had this procedure done. And I kept taking the Plavix because nobody ever told me that I was not supposed to continue taking the Plavix, even long after I had the stent.
Yes.
And the only thing that really kind of saved me was I was tossing and turning one night, and a commercial came on, and it was talking about the inherent dangers of taking Plavix. And now you mentioned, so if I went to and had some other issue, and I went and had some pain somewhere and started and still taking Plavix and start taking acetaminophen or some other things, you really put your life in jeopardy, right? I mean, just not knowing.
Yeah. Well, the length of time that after a stint to take Plavix can range between at least 6 to 12 months, and then the doctor would determine after that if you need to continue to have it. It has side effects, of course, and some patients would respond to other blood thinners different and better, and that's why it is kind of according to each one's situation. But the main thing is after 3 and 6 months, you should be checking with your cardiologist if you would continue on this type of medication because it would affect everything else. Change of bleeding time is going to affect other medications that you take, other foods that you eat, and supplements that you take. For instance, if you take Plavix and you take also Tylenol shouldn't be a problem. But if you take Plavix and you take a medication like omeprazole, that is a big problem because omeprazole is going to make the Plavix not work as it should. So you should take another medication instead of the omeprazole to help with acid reflux. So drug interaction is a very big topic in pharmacy and big part of what we study and learn because I meet many patients who take 10, 15 different kinds of pills and capsules, and we have to check the drug interaction. That reminds me of a story of a patient, Earl, that came to my pharmacy. He was 76 years old, taking blood thinners, taking pain medications, and he had no relief. He had rheumatoid arthritis, and it was like miserable, the level of pain that he was complaining from. And after I did an assessment with him, I connected him with a practitioner who prescribed low dose naltrexone because you can take it even if you are on a blood thinner. And after 2 weeks, the same patient walked into my store and he stood on one leg and he did a round on one leg and he gave me flowers and he told me I've never felt this kind of feeling for almost 20 years, and that's only after starting it by 2 weeks. And usually it can take up to 6 months for such a new novel therapy like low dose naltrexone to work, but for some people it can happen earlier. The challenge is that it is compounded, so it doesn't have the marketing media that's behind other medications. So many doctors do not know about it. So we have to do the extra effort of communication with practitioners to prescribe these kind of low side effect profile, very high efficient pain management solutions like LDN that has more than 2,000 paper and research and study that show its effect, and it can go far beyond just pain management. It helps with other autoimmune conditions, helps with to fight cancer, decreases inflammation, helps with COVID and long COVID. It's by far the main compounded medication that changed the last 20 years of practicing functional medicine in every pharmacy that does compounding in America, Earl. That's only one tool that we are using that is not acetaminophen and ibuprofen and Aleve. What we are looking for is long-term management of pain that is not as harsh as the other medications on the liver and the kidneys. And I told you before that if you have 10 over 10 of pain, and I can work on 2 points of this pain with a different tool. So physical therapy is going to help with 2 points. If curcumin is fine for you, it's going to help with 3 points. Taking magnesium every day, another 2 points. We can create a plan for a manageable, tolerable pain. The main big question is going to be, what is suitable for me? What can I do? And that's where you need guidance. And that's why we tell people, if you know someone that can help you, that you can call and check with, that can offer free consultation or even paid consultation to get what is specific and precision treatment to help you. Someone who's going to communicate with your health practitioners and make sure that they take care of you, they're responsible, not just an ad on Facebook. That is someone that you have to check and ask that question.
You know, Dr. Omar, prior to meeting you and having these conversations with you every Thursday, it just opened up my mind to all of these things, because before, if I had some issue and something was bothering me, it was always I have to wait to see the doctor. And sometimes waiting to see the doctor, it's not the way it was 30 years ago. I could call my doctor and say, hey, doctor, my eyelash is hurting. And the doctor could bring, okay, come in tomorrow, Earl. But that was when the doctor had his own practice. And so he was free to kind of do those things. Now, you might need to go and see your doctor, but you can't get to see the doctor for 3 weeks or maybe a month. And so having an opportunity to talk to someone who has the knowledge, because you keep talking about using tools, you're looking at it from a completely different perspective than I ever knew pharmacists looked at things. Because as I stated before, you know, prior to having my conversations with you, my only conversations with the pharmacist was, hey, here's the prescription. And then I picked up the, you have any questions? No, I take the prescription, I go home. And so now I attribute my health. When people see me, they say, man, I don't believe you're 70 years old. The way I move around and all those kind of things, it wasn't that way so long ago. And so my interactions with you and learning from you on this show and talking to you has really changed my life. And so that can happen to anybody else who's listening. That's why we say, if you have a question or comment, you certainly can call, and Dr. Omar will have a dialogue and a conversation with you. Because when you start talking about pain today, I didn't know the difference between ibuprofen, acetaminophen, or whatever it's pronounced. I didn't know the difference. You know, I've got a leave at home. I've got ibuprofen, or I don't know if that's the same stuff, whatever it is. I've got those different things in my cabinet, but you know, I don't go to them. I'm not reaching to grab and popping acetaminophen, however it's pronounced.
Yes,
Or
Tylenol. It is the Tylenol.
Or any of those things anymore, because I'm cognizant of it and the damage that it does. Am I just making noise?
No, you're not. It is actually, well, I want to tell you the truth. If me as a pharmacist not checking the difference between acetaminophen and ibuprofen for a while, I would forget. Everyone forgets because there's so much noise of information around us. So that is why it's like we try to treat every patient as like a whole kind of world of science and and things that are happening to you. You're not just a high blood pressure patient. You are somebody that need to figure out a way to live healthy and normal, and that's how pharmacy and medicine should be. I received a question, Earl, about supplement called SPMs. SPMs. Someone asked about what is SPMs. I heard about it. It's something that I can use for my pain. SPMs, these are specialized pro-resolving mediators. So it's kind of a long name for something that tell you that they work as like VIP switches that turn inflammation off, all right? If you have more of them in the body, it helps to turn and switch the inflammation off. We use it with some patients to help with pain, but on a deeper level of inflammation. They come from omega-3 fatty acids. So that's a type of a supplement that may be on the more expensive side. On the lower expensive side is another supplement called PEA, P as in pencil, E as in apple, E as in Edward, A as in apple, palmitoyl ethanolamide, which is another naturally occurring fatty compound your body produces under stress or injury. I would say roughly 40-50% of people that take PEA would help with pain management, and other people's it doesn't work with them. That is why it might take you a while to figure out how to work with the pain level that you have. And that's why I created a pain management consultation through my website, where I ask more than 130 questions. More than 130 questions you answer, so I can create a plan for your pain. There is also a new medication that just came called Jornavex, Jorna like journey, Jornavex, which is the first non-opioid pain medication discovered maybe in the last 20 years. And this is a pain medication for acute pain, not chronic pain. So many options, and it's very overwhelming, and that's why, like, you know, we have a lot of things to discuss when it comes to pain, and that's why I think we can discuss it over several episodes.
855-752-4842. You're officially in the pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist. Mary, hang on. Pharmacy with Dr. Omar, the pharmacist, on the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Let's go right to the phone lines. Mary from Tulsa. Hey, good morning to you, Mary. You say what?
Thanks for this opportunity, Earl. Thank you. And I'd like to ask Dr. Omer your knowledge of an online source of some pharmacy information that I've followed for some time. It's peoplespharmacy.com. The co-hosts are a husband and wife team. She's a medical anthropologist and he's a pharmacologist. So I was wondering your opinion of this information that they give, and also what's the difference between a pharmacologist and a pharmacist? Thank you very much.
So, People's Pharmacy, they are, I think, located in Texas. These are my friends. I know the owner myself. She's one of my concierge group with PCCA, a fellow member with PCCA, and she's an excellent pharmacist. And I don't know what she's doing with her husband, but she helped me a lot in many questions that I had to her. And if this is the People's Pharmacy that I know, then they would be offering very good information because they are very knowledgeable. What I found over the years, Earl, is that every other time we talk, I tell you I'm traveling to this convention or this seminar where I meet fabulous people with awesome minds, and they're always reaching for what's beyond dispensing a medication. How can we help people get better? How can we create a healthier community? So I want to tell you, like, I honestly don't know what they are saying on their information online, but I believe that it would be great information. Try to always find sources coming from a pharmacy that have a brick and mortar store, because if a pharmacy is having a brick and mortar store, not just an online service, then this means they are reporting to a board of pharmacy, they are reporting to DEA, they are reporting. There is government authorities that look at what they say, so those people are validating the information that they are providing. But I want to tell you, like, if you're following something from the People's Pharmacy, you are following the right stuff.
All right, let's go to Gail from Kenosha. Good morning to you, Gail. Thank you for the call. You say what?
This is Dale.
Okay, Dale. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. If somebody's trying to quit smoking, what do you suggest will help them?
Excellent question, because we were just talking about it yesterday. The nicotine patches, they help. Nicotine patches or nicotine gum, they help. Also, if there's a problem with hand-mouth syndrome of needing to put something in your mouth, there is nicotine lollipops that we compound at Wiltopia, in which you get 5 to 8 lollipops, and then it has nicotine in it, and you suck on it every time that you feel like you want to get nicotine, and that you can get a prescription for this from your doctor. We really want to use something for the first month and 2 months and 3 months. After 3 months, the main goal with quitting smoking is a psychological fear of smoking again, and you need to create new friends that you hang out with, because if you're hanging out with people who are smoking, you're going to smoke again. And smoking is the worst thing that you're going to do to your life. If someone is smoking and we're worried about lung cancer, and it's not about how it will happen, it's when it will happen, because it will happen eventually. Lung cancer will happen eventually for people who are smoking. So I am really happy for this question, because I've been getting less and less questions about quitting smoking. If you have tried the nicotine gums and patches and the pills of Chantix before and they didn't work and they didn't help, what can I do? I would tell you, go cold turkey and stop smoking today. I truly know doctors, more than one doctor, that if a patient comes to them and they have like long list of health conditions, the doctor would start with quitting smoking to the patient. If after 3 months and they find the patient did not follow the plan for quitting smoking, they wouldn't see the patient again because they tell the patient, you know what, I don't think I can help you anymore. So I'm glad for the question. I can help you with a specific plan for you to help you to quit smoking, and it's going to be between something to replace the nicotine, something to help with the dopaminergic feedback that you need, that feeling of happiness that you get from smoking. Can help you with a supplement for that, can help you with lifestyle changes, and for coaching for that part. And I would be so proud if I can help you in this journey, because it's something that is fearful.
And
The
Dr. Omar,
cigarette is a
what's the number that he can reach you?
262-429-9429. Text or call. Text to Omar directly, or leave a message. Press 3, leave me a message, and I'll get back to you.
And I can tell you, Dale, there is life after smoking. I stopped smoking.
yes,
20 years ago.
I was going to say, I don't smoke myself. I just call for a neighbor,
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's life after smoking, and it's fabulous. All right. Well, thank you very much. Dr. Omar, we're out of time again.
Out of town now again.
Yeah, man. Well, again, how can people reach you?
You can go to wiltopiarx.com or 262-429-9429, call or text.
All right, Dr. Omar, we'll see you in a week. Enjoy the warm weather. All right, 855-752-4842. Listen, we're going to open the phone lines in, the next segment of the show. 855-752-4842 on the Earl Ingram Show.
Mr. Mandela Barnes.
Hey, how you doing?
What's
Pretty good,
going
sir.
on,
This is
man?
Carti. This is Earl's producer. He's on the line with you. Just wants to go over a briefing with you real quick.
Okay.
Awesome.
What's going on, man?
Not too much. How are you?
I'm doing fine. So we're here to talk about Susan Crawford.
Okay.
Did you see the debate?
So I was at a debate watch party, but I was just talking to people. I didn't have a chance to sit and listen really.
Well, she actually
Oh, she did well. The parts I saw, she did very well.
yeah, she conducted herself really well. You know, the other stiff that was on the stage, you know, I heard him on WISN radio yesterday morning saying the exact opposite of the things that he said last night, man. I mean, man, you know, it's amazing, man, how these people are, right?
Yep.
You know, to say the exact opposite yesterday of what he was talking about earlier that day, it's really a sign, man.
It is.
You know, so and so as we talk about this, one of the things I kind of wanted to touch base with you on is how critically important, you know, this is. Because we're dealing, how much time do you have?
Much time.
Huh?
I have as much time as you need today, which is rare.
Okay. Well,
we can talk for as long as you need.
Okay. Because one of the things that I wanted to focus on is while we're dealing with this thing on the national level and Trump and Doge and all of those different things that seem to just be totally out of our control, we can't afford to locally, you know, turn back over the state Supreme Court. We spent 10 years with those people, man, in control.
Yep.
Right? I mean, we haven't even begun to see the vestiges of what can happen with them not in control. We see some signs. All right, we're ready.
Can I get 1 second before I come in, because I'm walking into my place right now, and I'm
Go ahead.
and I'll be able to get on my computer. So I'll log back on in like 3 minutes.
Won't you help me? Won't you help me understand you? Take me home.
Tennessee. Lord, I've really been real stressed, down and out, losing ground. Although I am black and proud, problems got me pessimistic. Brothers and sisters keep messing up. Why does it have to be so damn tough? I don't know where I can go to let these ghosts out of my skull. My grandma passed, my brother's gone. I never at once felt so alone. I know you're supposed to be my steering wheel, not just my spare tire. But Lord, I ask you to be my guiding force and truth. For some strange reason it had to be. He guided me to Tennessee. Take me to another place. Take me to another land. Make me forget all that hurts me. Let me understand your plan. Take me to another place. Take me to another land. Make me forget all that hurts me. Let me understand your plan. Lord, it's obvious we got a relationship. Talking to each other every night and day. Although you're superior over me, we talk to each other in a friendship way. Then out of nowhere, you tell me to break out of the country and into more country. Past Iceberg, into Ripley, where the ghost of childhood haunts.
All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Carti, if there's anybody who plays any more diverse music than me, who is it? You know,
I'm about to ask you, is he going to bring out the cardboard box?
No, man. All music, man. I love all sorts of music. But anyway,
I like it.
We're going to be joined by former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. He'll be joining us any minute. We're going to talk about why it's so important, with the Supreme Court election, and I was watching the debate last night with Susan Crawford.
Okay.
And who was that stiff that was on there with her, man? Who was that stiff? Brad Schimmel.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the amazing thing is I listened to Brad Schimmel on Conservative Talk Radio before, he even appeared yesterday. And I can tell you this and why it's so critically important. You can listen to Earl Ingram today and listen to him tomorrow and listen to him 365 days from now, and you're going to get the same Earl Ingram. I'm not going to change. This is who I am. And I think people should expect people to be who they are and not change as they're in different venues. But Brad Schimmel on Conservative Talk Radio yesterday was a guy who was doing nonstop conversation about, Republicans and he was entertaining the dialogue, conservative talking points, nonstop, kicking it. And so this is kind of who I am. I'm supporting. You got to understand, I'm going to support the conservative way all the way through. That's who Brad Schimmel is. He wasn't hiding any of that yesterday on Conservative Squawk Radio. But what Brad Schimmel did do, as I listened to him on a debate last night, he changed who he was. Man, he changed who he was. Now, he can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. He couldn't fool me because I heard him yesterday afternoon. He was a different guy last night before the cameras. He was a guy trying to sound reasonable. He was a guy trying to sound like, hey, I'm not with those conservative guys. Okay? I'm going to be fair. And you're going to be able to trust me because I'm one of you. Well, listen, Brad Schimmel, be the same person that you are all the time. So, former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, I've known for a long time. And I can tell you, it doesn't matter whether I see Mandela today or tomorrow or next week or next year. He's going to be the same guy. He's going to be saying the same thing, and that's who he is. Brad Schimmel changed. He changed just in less than 10 hours. He was on Conservative Talk Radio, and he was all in for everything that Donald Trump and the conservative movement, is. But then when he came on the debate stage last night, he tried to get people to believe, well, I'm not really with those guys. Well, good morning, former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. How you doing, man?
It's always a good time when I get to hop on the show. So feeling all right. What about you?
Yeah, man. So I'm just saying, man, you're always the same guy. You never change. Shouldn't we expect that?
Well, the one thing I will say is, some change is certainly necessary, but we're looking at the short span of time. We're talking about one day where Brad Schimmel is one person on a radio show versus the person he is on a debate. And I know a lot of shapeshifters, a lot of people who do that, like depending on the setting, they are a different person. Now that's the real problem. It's like there's zero consistency in them as people, and it's like, why should we trust them to make the decisions that impact our daily lives when they don't even have their own act together?
Well, I mean, clearly he's misleading people. You know, I mean, just be who you are.
Be who you are.
And if that's not good enough, then so be it. But he changed like a chameleon, man, in less than 10 hours.
Yeah.
He was portraying this image of somebody who's reasonable, and that if you vote for me, you're going to get, you know, fair and balanced a person on the Supreme Court. But that's not, you know, who he is. Your thoughts, man? Go ahead.
No, absolutely. I mean, he was the attorney general of the state for 4 years. I mean, you just have to look at his record during that 4-year span to know exactly who he is. And also, we got to think about the fact that this person was appointed by Scott Walker to serve on the Waukesha Circuit Court. So make no mistake, Scott Walker is was not appointing any moderates to any judicial position. So let's be real clear about how he got to the point where he is. But you know, Susan Crawford certainly handled her own and called out a lot of his BS yesterday, and I was very proud to see that.
I'll tell you, man. You know, I had her on the show several weeks back. I didn't know her at the time, and when we had her on and we had a conversation, you know, you don't really get to know a person for the first time, and you know, especially over the airwaves. But last night she was very strong, and she was determined, and she refused to be bullied. She refused to be misquoted, and man, that's kind of what you're looking for, man. You know. I mean, I was really surprised and encouraged by her strength, you know, and not being bullied and not backing down. You've seen the tactics before. You ran for United States Senate, and they use the same tactics on you that they're using on her.
Oh, for sure. And it's not a new playbook at all. And we just saw it go into overdrive during my campaign.
Right.
Obviously very, you know, disgusting. But the fact is, you know, Susan Crawford has a proven record. And this is the difference between a person who is comfortable in the work that they have done versus somebody who is trying to figure it out on the fly and decide who he wants to be at what point in time. And it showed very clear in Susan Crawford's presentation versus Brad Schimmel's presentation.
You know, Mandela, how critically important, we hear people say it, there's been well over $60 million. This is an all-time record. We know the last time there was a state Supreme Court seat available, record-breaking number of dollars were spent, and this time even more so. It does kind of show how important this seat is, right?
Well, it shows how important the seat is, but it also shows just what the gross influence of money in politics, what that has become. I mean, there's no reason that these races should be this expensive. There's no reason any race should be this expensive. And the fact that you have the world's most wealthy individual, the richest man on the entire planet, is putting his influence in this race the same way that he did with the presidential election. You see how that's turning out for everyday working people. You see how it's turned out for people who went into a career of public service to do the public good, to make life a little better for the rest of us, being purged. And I don't want that stink on our Supreme Court. And effectively, that's what will happen. Brad Schimmel could deny it all he wants to, but there is a reason why Elon Musk is spending this sort of money. He doesn't just spend money to spend money. Sometimes it looks foolish, like when he bought Twitter, but now he has vast control over this large social media empire that has turned into a racist hellscape. And now we see this purging at the federal government the same way he did at Twitter, trying to turn this country effectively into the same sort of territory. And there shouldn't even be consideration for allowing his influence on our court in Wisconsin. It should be a non-starter for everybody. I'm not willing to take that chance.
You know, man, I heard him say, she's getting money from the worst guy in the world, George Soros, and he was anti this and he was anti that. And I'm like, hey, come on, man. You know? They
They can't point out, they invoke this man's name, but have yet to say a single thing thing that they have an issue with. We're talking about a man like whose family fled the Nazis, right? Like this is like it's very, it's not even hypocritical, it's just disingenuous.
Well, he's against funding the police. Hey man, he's against crime. George Soros, come on, man. That works for some, and hopefully people are tired of that same old playbook, right?
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't fall for it anymore. 855-752-4842. Former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. I'm going to stop saying former Lieutenant Governor. What is your title now?
And former Lieutenant Governor is fine. I wear a lot of hats. I wear a lot of hats these days.
All right. That one I can always remember. 855-752-4842. Former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes is on the dais, and you can join us on the Earl Ingram Show.
Ishi, she went down to Holly Springs. Razadon and Baba, they went down to Peachtree. Headliner, I challenge you to a game of horseshoes. A game of horseshoes.
Now I see the importance of history. Why my people be in the mess that they be. Many journeys to freedom made in vain by brothers on the corner playing ghetto games. I ask you, Lord, why you enlighten me without the enlightenment of all my folks. It's said cause I set myself on a quest for truth, and he was there to quench my thirst. But I am still thirsty. Lord, allow me to drink some more. He said what I am searching for.
All right, I'm bringing it up.
All right.
Record. All right, you're good to go.
What matters most to you? Are you ready for a political recession? Oh, excuse me. Ready?
Yep.
What matters most to you? Are you ready for a potential recession? Sandy Williams will be joining us to share his expert insights on the topic next on the Earl Ingram Show.
One more time.
What matters most to you? Are you ready for a potential recession? Sandy Williams will be joining us to share this Do it again.
Go ahead, you got it.
What matters most to you? Are you ready for a potential recession? Sandy Williams will be joining us one more time, man.
I got you. I'll space it out for you.
No, I got it. Ready? No, I got it. Okay, ready? I'm cool. Ready? What matters most to you? Are you ready for a potential recession? Sandy Williams will be joining us to share his expert insights on this topic on the next Earl Ingram Show.
Perfect.
All right.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming around. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart.
All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. You can text us at that same number. My guest is former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. You know, Mandela, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you to give the greetings to your mom and dad.
I will be sure to do that.
Yeah, man. Hey, tell them I said hello. Let me ask you, let's go to the phone lines first. Let's go to Cindy from Appleton. Good morning to you, Cindy. You say what?
Well, I say we are never going to get to the people who support the MAGA candidates because I'm driving in areas where the mega areas are, and there's nothing but bread, Schimmel signs everywhere. But hopefully the moderates and independents are going to start coming around and realizing what's going on, because we're never going to win over the megas. Never.
You know, Mandela, you want to respond to?
I remember I got in a little bit of trouble in 2018 when I said, if they voted for Donald Trump, we'll just have to find voters elsewhere. I got in trouble for that. But the fact is, we have seen a constant decline, in Black voter participation since the 2012 election. There are folks across the state in more rural communities who have also stopped showing up as well. And it's because people don't oftentimes see Democrats as a party that's going to fight for them. And that is going to be, it has been disastrous for us. It was disastrous in 2016. It was disastrous in 2024. The reality is our biggest swing voter is the people who just don't show up to vote, but could be otherwise convinced if they felt compelled to, based on the candidate, based on the messages, based on what they are hearing. But unfortunately, it feels, or even just through conversation, like whether it's casual conversation or reports from the doors from our organizers at Power to the Polls, like people are constantly saying they want Democrats to show up and fight before they are compelled to show up and vote. And you look in Congress right now where, everybody I talk to, doesn't matter. The age doesn't matter. Demographic doesn't matter where they're from. They are always asking, well, where are the Democrats in Congress right now? I'm not there, so I can't answer that question. But what I can say, like, even if they're in, and I do truly believe some people are working on something, but if the people aren't feeling it, just like throughout the 2024 election cycle, there was all this talk about how well the economy was performing, the best performing economy. If the people aren't feeling it, which they weren't, because they were still paying higher prices and still getting paid the same amount, they weren't feeling it. So that economic message did not resonate with them, instead of a plan to drive down costs, which should have been what we led with. And it is the same way. If people don't see or feel that Democrats are working for them, even if a whole lot of work is happening behind the scenes, it will not matter come election time.
So, Mandela, I have to ask you, man, because I'm frustrated as a man who for 52 years has always voted Democrat, never voted Republican, never will. I don't believe in their policies, just straight up. But for people who say the Democrats didn't do anything for us and they haven't, what did they think the Republicans have done for them? And what are they doing for them right now? Look, farmers and people in rural America who supported Donald Trump, he's kicking them in the teeth. Republican policies are treating them worse than Democrats ever did. So how is it possible then that those very people who keep saying the Democrats didn't do anything for us, in light of what the Republicans are doing to them and getting ready to do to them, there's going to come a time when they're going to be on their knees begging for relief from the very people that they supported.
And it's happening. It's happening. Look at the number of people that voted for Donald Trump who are getting fired from the federal workforce.
Yes.
Like, this is actually happening. And my thing has always been, look, there are a lot of people who went out and voted for Donald Trump because they thought that he was going to bring down the hammer on this community, on that community.
Right.
It was sort of a vote of aggression because we felt that, these people are getting too many rights. Like, this is happening. This shouldn't be happening. And not realizing how vulnerable they were to the wrath of this president. And now they're feeling it. Now they are a marginalized community themselves because they are out of work.
Mandela, so, because if I hear again, constantly about the Democrats didn't do this, the Democrats didn't do that. And so you look at the state of Wisconsin, it was almost all red. Okay. And so the people, he's not only going to hurt the people in urban America, but they're getting ready to do major damage to the farmers, right? His policies worse, and they're going to be wishing that Joe Biden was back, who did things to augment and to support farmers, right? You say what you will, but today is a different day. And you know, you're a Democrat. And so I agree that there's some things that Democrats need to do different, but for heaven's sakes, voting Republican doesn't fix that, man. It exacerbates it.
Voting Republican or not voting at all doesn't fix it. And that's
Right.
the message I try to drive home to people. Like, still show up. And if you're frustrated, if you're upset by something, that's all the more reason to show up.
Yeah, 855-752-4842. Former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes is my guest. You can join us again, 855-752-4842 on the Earl Ingram Show.
Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming around. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified and then I see the look in your eyes. Turn around. Every now and then I fall apart. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. And I need you now tonight. And I need you more than ever. And if you only hold me tight, we'll be holding on forever. And we'll only be making it right. 'Cause we'll never be wrong. Together we can take it to the end of the line. The love is like a shadow on me all of the time. I don't know what to do and I'm always in the dark.
Mandela, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I got to call you after the show off the air. I got something I want to discuss with you.
Okay.
All right.
You never was this nice, you cared for me. But now you're talking like you made a change. The more you talk, the more things sound the same. What makes you think you can't just walk back into her life? That a good fight. I just sit back and watch you make a fool of yourself. 'Cause you're just wasting your time. Oh, no, you're never gonna get it.
All right,
Not this
welcome
time.
back to the
Never,
Earl
never
Ingram
gonna get
Show.
it.
As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Text us that same number. My guest is former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. So Mandela, as you now kind of left the political arena for now, and for the first time in, wow, how long, man?
Well, I can't say that I'm fully left. You know,
I know, but you're not holding an office, and you're
not holding an office, for sure, for sure. Well, remember I did have a little brief period, you know, between 2017 and 19, between the assembly and lieutenant governor. But
right.
You know, and that's the thing too. I'm comfortable enough, you know, not being in office, and that's one thing that happens too often is there seems to be sometimes a dependency on the title. And people feel as if they can't be active or be productive or be helpful or be a part of the conversation without that title, which is absolutely, you know, not true. And having a chance right now to still work on the things that have been important to me for so long, whether it's the clean energy work, whether it's the democracy work, getting people out to vote, creating jobs, like this is the work I have a chance to do and be a part of. And it's exciting for me. I get to work with the same partners in organized labor, get to work with the same partners, even in elected office all across the state. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, right? You know, there are parts I certainly do miss, but you know, I'd be lying if I said I was fully removed. I'm still here, and I'm going to be active. I'm going to maintain a presence, especially as this moment calls for it, like never before.
Do you feel unshackled?
No, not yet.
Well, and so the reason I asked the question is you see congressmen and senators who've been there for 35, 40 years, and that's who they are. And so somewhere along the line, you have to lose yourself in that. And the person that you were prior to being engaged, your thoughts, man, on somebody being in, you know, public office. We hear people say it for 35, 40 years. And then it almost appears as though they've got to hold on to it. And sometimes maybe lose themselves in it or forget why they're there in the first place.
So I'll say the most important part about that, it's not necessarily the time, right? Like it is the effectiveness. If a person has been in office, whether it's the same office or multiple offices over the span of time, if they're actually putting in the work, if they are actually getting things done, if they are actually showing up and maintaining a presence, I don't necessarily have a problem with that, right? Like, and I do support term limits for sure. I think there should be term limits, but you know, as it stands, like I'm not going to say that a person who's been there for some time and is still effective just has to go based on the fact they haven't been there, unless there were term limits in place to be all for it. Because right. I know some people who have been in office for very little amount of time and do nothing in the short time that they've had. You don't hear from them on the most critical issues, like people who are freshly elected, who should have the best ideas, who should be the most emboldened to go out there and make us think about what's going on and have some sort of presence or pushback to what's going on. And you don't see that. Like I know a lot of inactive young elected officials, which is the most heartbreaking and depressing.
I'm glad you said that, man, because I see it myself, and they see it as a career path, and in a representative government, that's a cancer, because the people can't be represented, and the people can only speak through the voices of the people they elect.
It's a lack of bravery, man. It's a lack of bravery.
Yeah. Well, let's go to Don from Madison. Good morning to you, Don. You say what?
Good morning. I just have to get this off my chest. Long time ago, my mother told me that you have to be a little bit crazy in order to be a politician and a leader, such as the ones that are in charge of our country right now. And I just got to put it out there. They look a little nuts lately. They look physically and mentally crazy.
Do you mean both sides?
And,
both sides?
I wanted to put my 2 cents in.
No. So do you mean both sides of the aisle?
No, the ones that are in charge right now, they look mentally crazy.
Well, it's because their policies are that, and their policies don't jive with the average everyday person, right? Okay, and so they don't have the courage to resist. They see bad policies that's going to impact and affect their own citizens, and they don't have the power or the strength to say no. Hey, Don, thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Mike from Kenosha. Good morning to you, Mike. You say what?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Good morning, Mr. Barnes. Hey, and I'm responding to the comment that the Democratic Party didn't do this and Democratic Party didn't do that. And I say BS to that. Today's public, it seems, really knows how to cop out and not really own their part of what it takes to live in a free republic. It just seems to me that the power of the people, we don't understand it. We kind of lost it somewhere. Look what happened in Van Orton, I think, district, when he wouldn't show up. When still hundreds and hundreds of people showed up to the public facility for this representative who chose not to show up, but who did? A true public servant, Mark Polkan, and others. If people organize, and there's enough people, lay people, demonstrating and voicing their opinions, leaders will come out of that group. Leaders will find that group and begin to, join forces and come together. But the first thing that has to happen, in my opinion, and please give me your opinion as well, is we, the people, have to stand up. We have to say enough is enough. And all of a sudden, things, get the momentum going so we can somehow separate the public servants from the self-servants during the primary part of the election process and not after they're elected. What do you think about that?
Hey, Mike, thank you very much for the call.
Yeah. If I could take both of those last calls, I'll take the most recent one. And, I don't want this to be a blanket statement when I say when people ask where are the Democrats, because there are, we do have people who are fighting. It also goes back to my previous point about, people having been in office for a while, but are still showing up and doing the work. And so for sure, this is certainly happening. And when I say this, I mean, writ large, right? Like there should have been zero people who voted for zero Democrats who voted for the censure of Al Green. There should be more people who are showing up all across the country, putting in the effort instead of saying, well, maybe I can try to work with him. This isn't a time to try to work. This is not a normal administration, as you know. And your whole point about the people showing up is the most important part to remember. And I've said this so many times before. It hasn't been the politicians, it's been the people that have led the way and led the sort of revolts against what we're dealing with right now. 100% agree with you on that. And I hope that not only you stay in, but you get a handful more people that get involved, that also get a handful more people to get involved, because that's how we begin to change things. And the part, the caller before who mentioned, the appearance of people, it's like, you can only lie to people for so long before it starts weighing on you and honestly having a physical impact on you as a person. And these are people who are lying every day, showing up, defending some of the most grotesque actions in government that we have ever seen in our lifetime. In fact, not some of the most. It is the most. It is the worst. I try to be cautious. I'm still under 40, so I try to be cautious when I say in our lifetimes. But the people I've talked to who are over twice my age say that this is the worst that they have ever seen. So I have to take their word for it.
It is no question. It's the worst in my 70 years. It's the worst we've seen by far. Nothing compares to it. Let's go to Tom from Richland Center. Good morning to you, Tom. You say what? Tom from Richland Center. Tom.
Tom from LA.
Okay, Tom from LA.
You hear
go
me?
ahead. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, listen. You think things were bad when George Bush was in there and they were going after Iraq and stuff? That makes it look like Sunday school. I wanted to mention the money in politics thing you guys were talking about a few minutes ago. I ran for state assembly in 2008, and back then you could get public financing for a small percentage of your campaign if you decided not to take corporate money. And I did that, and I was one of the few people. And the people running the local Democratic Party, the state party, were really mad at me for doing that, and I wouldn't take the big money. And then, of course, with Act 10 and all that, Walker threw that all away. But if we had complete public financing of all elections and reasonable numbers, this whole thing would just be so different. But even the Dems don't want to do that. We also had Healthy Wisconsin in 2008 that I ran on, that we were told by the Dems not to run on it. But the state Senate, which was Dem-controlled, had passed it. It was made with Kathleen Vineout and Urban Bach and a few other people and a bunch of labor people and university people, business people got together and figured out a plan. Turns out it was way better than Obamacare. It would have let families in a rural area like I live in have $6,000 more a year to spend in town. Well, if every family around here spent $6,000 more in town, can you imagine what that would do every year to the economy?
Hey.
And also make people healthy. And anyway, those are things the Dems decided not to do. The people who decided not to do that are in charge of the Democratic.
Okay, so what did the Republicans do?
Oh, they're trying to chop the heck out of it.
I know, but see, Tom, that's the part of this that I don't understand. We can continue to hammer away at what the Democrats didn't do, and so then people turn around and vote for Republicans, and it's
or not vote.
Yeah, or not vote, and it's a total wipeout.
Oh, I'm not saying we're not going to vote Democratic if we have to, that's what our choices. But you're asking what the Democrats did wrong. They gave up on the things that would have made a huge difference for the regular people, and it's because they went corporate in the whatever.
Well, thank you very much for the call. Yeah. Do you know what he's talking about, Mandela? They went corporate.
No, I wasn't around at that time.
Well, I mean, people I wasn't around now. No, I mean, I'm talking about people even say that now. That the Democrats.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant the Healthy Wisconsin.
Or also that the Democrats spent more time, they were more focused on urban America than they were on rural America. And as a person who lives in urban America, I don't know where they got that from. Because if you go through our neighborhoods and communities, I don't see where the Democrats have focused on our community. Mandela, do you?
So what I'll say to that point is I've certainly heard it before. And I guess it goes back to the whole point is, as a Democrat, as somebody who is going to continue to be one, whether I'm in office again or not, if that's the way people are feeling, if that is the response, then we should rethink strategy. We have to, figure out what our approach is to meet the needs of everybody across the state. And it is not my first time hearing that.
All right, hold the thought. 855-752-4842. Guys, hang on. We'll come right to you. All right. Welcome back to the last few minutes of the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Text us that same number. My guest is former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. Let's go right back to the phone lines. Let's go to Tom from LA. Good morning to you, Tom. You say what?
Good morning. First, thank you, Mandela, for showing up on Civic Media. We need more people like you on here. Second, we the people ultimately are the government, and we must never forget that. And that's one thing I think Democrats do poorly, is they seem to talk down government. We should be the party of good government. We should be the person that's fighting back against all this negativity towards government. I also think that we need to follow the playbook of the person that won 4 elections, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We have the playbook. Why are we not following that playbook as Democrats? I think you should run as an FDR Democrat. I am a proud FDR Democrat myself because I went back and studied history. But people should know who it was that brought us Social Security, unemployment, and the rest. Also, ask this question to anybody. In the past 50 years, what policy, what prescription have the Republicans put up or have passed for the average working American person? The answer is zero.
Hey Tom,
Nobody can come up with one.
thank you. Thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Brendan. Hey, good morning to you, Brendan. You say what?
Good morning. Listen, I just wanted to comment. A couple people have talked about what the Democrats aren't doing. I want to thank Governor Tim Walz for putting himself out there. He's going to be in Des Moines, Iowa, and he's offered to go to any city to a town hall, Republican or Democrat, and talk to the people and not run off. Because as we've seen, the notice has been put out by the RNC for these knuckleheads to stop going to these town halls. And it's very important because it is where the people's voice is heard. And he took it on his shoulders and he said, look, we made a mistake. We obviously didn't message right. And James Hess, please spare us. Linda McMahon running the educational department. Why don't we just put Trump's caddy in charge of some other department? But anyway, but long story short, he's out there, he's doing it, and he's talking.
Hey, Brendan, thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Mark from Racine. Good morning to you, Mark. You say what?
I guess I was a little confused online. I didn't know Mandela was your guest because online I was seeing apparently an old show. I don't know if it's appropriate. I wanted to say a few things about Ukraine. Should I go forth or wait another time?
No, wait for another time. Thank you very much for the call.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to Jack from Racine. Good morning to you, Jack. You have a question to come in for former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes.
Yes, I wanted to refer back to Tom from somewhere or other, to both Toms. First of all, every time that votes have come up and people proposing to make public funding of politics and government, it's Democrats who support it. Democrats vote for it every time they get out, and they get beaten on that vote by the Republicans. And so you want people to, this business about corporate whatever, people have to do what they have to do to win an election at that point that's within the law, and taking corporate donations sometimes is what they need to do. The second thing is referring to all this talk about, I think the talking heads and the press who get to sit on the sidelines and go tut, tut, tut all the time with the Democrats, it becomes their way of making a living, is find out what they can say about the Democrats. Because you know what? There's no secret handshake. I'll bet you more than half of those people on the calling in here complaining about the Democratic Party in one way or another never have worked a day for the Democrats to get elected or to get involved in shape policy. The door is open. There's no secret handshake. Walk in or shut up.
All right. Thank you very much for the call, Mandela. You want to respond to that?
Definitely agree. I gotta with that. Showing up. If you have a complaint, the same thing I talk about, or the same thing I say to people who say they don't want to vote. If you have a complaint, that's all the more reason to show up to vote. If you're frustrated with Democrats or you think they aren't doing enough, show up to a meeting. Work to influence the conversation. And as they say, the cure for ailing democracy is more democracy. The more participation we have, the better off we all are. It is easy to sit and complain about, what the team is doing on the field. But if you aren't out there in the game, it's hard to be very, very direct in that assessment. It's easy enough for us all to get involved and find there are multiple ways, online, virtually, or in person, which is the most impactful.
Okay, Carter, who's on 5? Just put them on.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. During going back to your earlier part of the show, here I go again. During Abraham Lincoln's time, there were Whigs and Tories. I was going to ask if either of you guys know what Whigs and Tories are, but they coined the phrase mugwumps. And it just came to me while I was waiting that we are inundated with Trump wumps right now. And I would say Brad Schimmel, we've had a time with him, and it was a disaster.
Hey, man, we got you. We're out of time. Thank you very much for the call. Man.
Trump wump.
Thank you very much. Mandela, I got to bring you back on, man, but we can talk about many other things. I'm going to be extending the invitation to you, especially with what you're doing now. Because
for sure, always happy to show up.
Yeah, all right. That's Mandela Barnes, and thank you, and thank all of you who made the show go. Thank you, Carti. Up next, Jane Madnair on air. Mandela, tell your parents I said hello.
I'll be sure
and see you guys later.
All right, see you soon.